Hi friends, how are you? Thank you for joining After Dinner with Coach Leslie. If you're out there and you're watching, if you could please drop an emoji or comment and say hello so I know you're watching, that would be great. So a little about me, I have 20 years of experience in the human resources industry as a human resources business partner. And for the last 10 years, I have been partnering with individuals and leadership to help them achieve their goals. And I do that. Hi, Ann. Thanks for joining. I do that by exploration and discovery of the inner self. So there's a lot of things that we don't realize about ourselves that by asking the right questions, we can take a deeper look within ourselves, and a lot of the answers that we'll find were there all along. We just needed a little help getting there. Pathways to Growth is our mission is to partner with individuals to help them achieve their better selves, a better version of themselves. Hi, Beth. Thanks for joining. So again, this is done by exploration and discovery within ourselves. So with that, the topic for this evening is dating post-divorce. That could be challenging for some. I'm going to talk about my own personal experiences. I won't go into a lot of detail, but which is one of the reasons why I'm talking about this topic tonight, because one of the main reasons that coaches share and people share their experiences is because they've learned from it. They've made those mistakes. And so they want others to learn from it as well. Hi, Jason. Thanks for joining. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So if you are dating post-divorce, you are either having a good dating experience or you're having a challenging experience. And I can tell you that it can be challenging depending on the circumstances, right? I myself had a challenging experience with dating. I had separated with my ex-husband in 2010. Divorce was final in 2011. And had been on the dating scene for years. Hi, Erin. Thanks for joining. I'll go into a little bit more detail in a little bit as far as my specific experience. But how many of you out there are dating post-divorce? Just drop an emoji. If you want to drop a comment, feel free. It's more prominent these days for me to be talking with someone who either recently has divorced or it has been a while since they divorced. And every person that I talk to, it's a different circumstance, it's a different situation, and it's not the same for everyone. So it's completely normal for someone to say, I'm having fun, I'm the happiest I've ever been, I get to just, be who I am, not have to worry about who, what the perception is of me. I get to be my real self. That's great. That's a good dating experience. A challenging dating experience is when you're out there and you're searching and you think that you connect with someone, but then you realize that there really isn't a connection as time goes by, and it could be frustrating. So that could be a challenging experience. So without a doubt, I did not like dating. It was fun, and I met a lot of great people and individuals who are my friends today. So there's a positive and there's a benefit to dating and getting out there and meeting people. I'm grateful and thankful for those friendships that I have created over the years. Again, if you're out there watching, please drop an emoji. Let me know you're there by commenting. So the most important thing is that you learn from your experiences. And that is the most critical thing that you're going to do that's going to take you in the path of who and where you want to be in life. One thing that I found challenging, not sure if all of you feel the same out there, I had a hard time distinguishing between actually making a connection with someone and just getting caught up in either lust or attraction. And it's hard to distinguish between the two. I had someone tell me years ago, Leslie, you're not going for the right people. Well, how do you know if it's the right person for you or not? You don't. Until you put yourself out there and you build a relationship and a connection, you're not going to know. If you're basing your choices of who you're going to talk to or go on dates with based on attraction only, then there might be connection to follow. There probably will not be connection to follow because there's just so much more to it. It's really important to build a friendship first. And it took me a long time to realize that. Hi, Tim. Thanks for joining. So one thing that it's important is to give yourself enough time. I can't honestly sit here and be transparent to say that I did or didn't give myself enough time when I started dating. I could sit here and think about it all day, but I could have probably waited a little longer than I did after a divorce. The most important thing is that it's the right time for you. And again, everyone's situation is going to be different. Everyone's circumstances around the reasons of divorce or separation or breakup is different. Some, might have went through a traumatizing experience where there was emotional or physical abuse. And so that might take a little longer for someone. And I'll get into that in a second. Make sure of the following. You are over your ex when you start dating. It's important. For a lot of different reasons, it's important. But again, you need to be ready to move into something new. And in order to do that, you need to really self-reflect and be aware of what went wrong, what could have turned the table. Make sure you find yourself, reclaim who you are. It took me a long time to find Leslie again. And so if you're going to start a new chapter with someone else and be in a relationship with someone else, that alone is a lot. And you have to be sure that you're whole again before you're committing to someone else. People get lost in their marriages. I know I did. And so you have to get that back. Look into what hobbies you are interested in. Favorite pastime. Do you. And in the meantime, you're going to find yourself again so that you can allow for someone else to come in and share those same interests and hobbies. For the longest time, I had people tell me, just do what you want to do and you're going to find the right person, whatever it is that you're doing. And I thought, yeah, right. That doesn't happen. However, it does happen. And it's amazing when it does happen. because I'm a completely different person than what I was 10 years ago when I separated with my husband. So reclaiming your life is very important. If you, again, you do you, and the person's going to almost just come into your life and you will blend. Some things to be careful. Some things to be careful about. If someone seems too perfect, trust your gut. And the reason is nobody is perfect. So if someone seems perfect, give it a little bit of time. And, you know, just kind of assess. They very well could be. They could be perfect for you. But give yourself some time to make that connection, build on that relationship, and really make sure that it's really connecting. This is interesting. So studies have shown that most people find that their partner has 80% of what they are looking for in a significant other or a partner. So there's 20% that includes habits, faults, behaviors, annoyances, things that you would consider not ideal. If this makes up 20% only of someone, you have to ask yourself, can you live with that 20%? Until death do you part, can you live with that 20%? Or is it something that it's a deal breaker? You absolutely cannot live with that 20%. And sure, there are circumstances where it's a big deal. It might only be a small portion of this person, their behaviors, what they do, any habits, but it could be very big in a sense. So if these are huge things that you cannot live with them and accept them, that's important. Can you accept these things about this person? There's always things that we need to accept. And sure, we all have annoyances. But at the end of the day, do you really, really love this person that you can live with this for the rest of your life? If you can't, then that person probably is not the right one. But you have to allow some time to draw on that conclusion. So let's see who we have. We have Carrie, Christina, Amber, Russ, and Kathy. Thanks for joining. And when I was told that, it was actually a relationship coach that had told me that years ago. It makes sense. At first, again, I didn't want to hear it. Didn't make sense. Whatever. Open game at that point. But it does make a lot of sense. So let me ask, does anyone know what a relationship map is? And if you do, or if you have actually sat down and worked through a relationship map, just drop an emoji or comment. I'm interested to see who all knows what this is. But if you don't know what it is very similar to a life map or a mind map where you have one topic and you're just brain dumping, either in a Word document or you're writing it out, handwritten, whatever method you want to use. And it's where you map out all the do's and the don'ts that you want in a relationship with someone, or qualities that you want in a person. You make a list and you just really think hard about this. Is not an hour exercise. This is like overtime. This is maybe here and there with our busy lives and our schedules. This is here and there as you think about it. And when you start going out on dates, this is when you meet someone and you figure out, oh yeah, I don't think that's for me, or yeah, that's what I don't want in a relationship. And then you never go out on a second date or a third date. So keep a list and really focus on this list and keep looking back at it from from time to time. And when you start getting out into the dating world, you will make a connection as to, again, if you didn't already know what you wanted in a relationship or in a person, this is what sets the tone, and this is where it helps you identify what you do want. If you're divorced, you base it off of the foundation of the marriage that you just left, right? You know what you want and you know what you don't want just based on that marriage. That's the foundation. And then you have to take it a step further. Now that you know what you don't want, it's time to focus on what you do want. And there's nothing wrong with that. I thought that I had been too picky. I had friends say, Leslie, you are way too picky. You're never going to find anyone if you continue this path. And I went with my gut. I went with my feelings. And sure, you think someone could be. It's the possibility that someone might be. Again, you're not going to know until you build a friendship base and really see where that goes. So to jump into anything crazy as far as, if you have children, I had waited majority of the time that I was dating and a single mom. I waited for anyone to meet my children until I was dating them for a while. If at all. There were a lot of times that I would go on dates, more than one date, and I didn't introduce the person to my children. And there's many reasons for that. And I thought for sure that with my now husband, Russ, that he came to pick me up on our second date. He came to pick me up. My kids were there, and it bothered me, but I am so thankful and so blessed that they were there, and that, he's now their stepdad. But it bothered me because I was so consistent with not putting them in that situation. And that's for obvious reasons, folks. They get attached depending on their age. If it was a situation in which their legal guardian, father or mother, isn't in their lives, they could become so attached, and then if something were to happen that you didn't connect, or it would be bad for them. Most importantly too is learning from your mistakes. If you had a part in the reason that you're divorced, really do some self-reflecting and dig deep into what your part was with the divorce, so that when you go into dating and if you're in a serious relationship, that's at the forefront of your mind. You don't want to make the same mistakes twice, which is also the reason that you focus on what you do and don't want. Because if you don't make that list and do a relationship map, you're going to jump into dating and you're going to make the same mistakes, because that's what's natural to us. That's what we know. That was our comfort zone for how many years or how long. I hear clients say he or she is just not my type. I recommend not having a type. I had been told this for years, never listened. Folks, if you haven't received this yet, I can be stubborn, and I can have my own independent mind. And this is why I'm talking to you all, because I didn't necessarily listen to those who I should have been listening to. But it took me until the very last date to realize this. And it wasn't even sure that I had a type. Like, if someone would have asked me that, I wouldn't have been able to tell you what kind of type I went for. But it's just one of those things. Keep an open mind. My husband is the complete opposite of my ex. And that's for a reason. Again, that goes back to what I want and what I don't want. So if you're holding on to, he's not my type, chances are that's going to probably be the person that's going to be a good fit for you. If your type was the same as your previous husband or wife. Finally, be kind to yourself. There were so many times that I was not kind to myself. I was frustrated. I was thinking, what is wrong with me that I am not finding someone? And I remember my sister and my family, they were like, Leslie, don't rush this. You have another chance to find happiness and to find joy and to find a partner who respects you and to make it right and really be fully into this relationship or marriage. And I was so focused on trying to find someone, and it's not the case. It's gonna happen when it happens. And I am a true believer. I am a woman of faith, so I tell my husband all the time that God gave me him. After the song Blake Shelton, God Gave Me You, I truly believe that God has his own timing. And it was not time for me to be dating when I really, really wanted to find someone. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time for me. It wasn't the right time for my children. And looking back, it would have never have worked. Even if I would have met my husband earlier on as a single mom, it wouldn't have worked. There would have been a ton of obstacles. One being I was not ready. I had to work on myself. I had to repair myself. And so it wouldn't have worked. And I say that to him all the time. So just be patient. Have fun dating. I know that's going to be difficult because it can be frustrating and it can be challenging, but it can also be such a great experience, and you could meet some really great people who turn out to be your closest friends, your tribe. They become your tribe. And even though you're not in a romantic relationship with them, they're still important people to you. So with that, I would love to hear if anyone has any questions. And if anyone wants to share experiences. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining. Carissa, Michelle, Rob. I appreciate you joining. If you caught the tail end of this, you can replay it back. And I'm interested in hearing thoughts and feedback. I'm open to feedback on all the live sessions that I conduct. I want to constantly hit on topics that you want to hear about. And if I can help in that respect, I would love to be able to pass on any knowledge or skills or tools to make everyone's life better and easier. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me if there's a specific topic that you're struggling with or having difficulty with, or a project that you just, for whatever reason, you can't get to it. Let's talk through it and let's help you achieve your goals. So with that, everyone have a good evening, and I appreciate you watching.